Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Azuniza binti Azlan. My numeracy is 03DMK19F1051. Today, I want to present about rotational molding, chapter 6. First, introduction. Rotational molding is a relatively slow process that is capable of making large one-piece hollow plastic object at a cost lower than most other plastic molding process. Rotational molding process start with a closed split mold. The molding compound, usually a thermoplastic in the form of pellets or granules, is pre-measured and loaded into the molding chamber. The chamber is then sealed and mounted on a multi-axial rotation station. The chamber is heated and the compound inside is melted. Preferably, the molten material has low viscosity and can be distributed easily. The rotation station begins to rotate slowly. Multiple exist simultaneously such that the molten material is evenly coated on the internal surface on the mold while the temperature continues to drop in a controlled manner. The rotation and cooling continue until the molding compound solidifies. The mold can be opened and the finished part is released. The rotational speeds, heating, and cooling rates need to be controlled throughout the process. Unlike other common plastic molding methods, such as injection, extrusion, and compression molding, there is no external pressure applied during the entire molding process. Again, this is a very slow process and each cycle usually takes about an hour or more. Second definition. Rotational molding is a process that is mainly used to create hollow one-piece plastic atom, also called rotomolding. It is a low-pressure, high-temperature manufacturing method that combines heat and biaxial rotation. Typical mold parts can include parts like fluid containers, compartment liners, speed trays, pellets, and pipe support. Okay, this video can explain about rotational molding.
Rotational molding. It's how most large plastic products are made. Things like water and fuel tanks, kayaks, road barriers, and toys are all rotationally molded. Over 3.6 billion pounds of plastic are rotationally molded each year. Rotational, or rotomolding, starts by putting plastic powder into a hollow metal mold. The mold is heated in a big oven while being turned.
Second,
plastic powder melts into the inside of the mold, which is then cooled. Then the finished part is pulled out and more plastic put into the mold to start the process again.
Cooling station,
but rotational molding has problems. It uses natural gas or sometimes kerosene for heat. Rotational molding burns over 18 trillion BTUs of fossil fuel and generates over 2 billion pounds of greenhouse gases each year. Most of the heat is wasted out of the oven chimney, and rotational molding equipment is big, heavy, and expensive, requiring a substantial factory building with an industrial gas and electric hookup.
Solar rotational molding.
But Light Manufacturing LLC has a better way. Solar thermal rotational molding. Not to be confused with solar electricity, solar thermal energy uses radiation from the sun to directly heat something.
Like
water.
Solar thermal
Rooftop solar
energy.
hot water systems use solar thermal energy to heat water for home or industrial purposes. But ordinary sunlight isn't powerful enough to melt plastic. It takes about 20 times that energy level to melt plastics used in rotational molding. How do we generate this powerful solar beam? Using heliostats. A heliostat is a simple computer-controlled mirror which reflects the sun onto a target. As the sun moves across the sky, the heliostat adjusts to keep the target heated. A group of heliostats can work together to create a powerful, controllable heat source or rotational molding. Free, clean, unlimited energy directly from the sun. But wait, what about the economics? Most solar projects are only viable with subsidies or other incentives. Why is solar rotational molding different? Lots of reasons. Unlike solar electric projects, which require huge capital investments and are still very inefficient, solar rotational molding, or SRM, achieves over 75% thermal efficiency. More importantly, SRM radically reduces the capital requirements of the rotational molding process. Remember our traditional rotomolding factory? Instead of using large, heavy machinery to move molds into the oven, cooling, and workstations, SRM uses inexpensive, fixed-position armatures. Instead of moving molds in and out of the heat source as in traditional molding, solar rotational molding moves the heliostat beam from one inexpensive armature to another as needed. We replace costly machinery and fossil fuel energy with cheap, simple machinery and free solar thermal energy. Solar rotational molding systems cost only about 1/4 of what traditional molding systems do. SRM is unique among solar processes in that it offers better ROI, lower operating costs, and lower initial investment implemented in areas where solar electricity, farming, or most other economic activity is not viable. Light manufacturing provides IP licensing, system design, turnkey SRM hardware, and process analysis for clients around the globe. Whether you're a rotational molding equipment manufacturer, plastic molder, or an NGO, Light Manufacturing is ready to work with you.
Okay, that's all for today. I will pass to my friend.